Hello everyone, this is Mimir. Today, we're diving into something that's been building for years, mostly out of sight. Out in the East China Sea, a silent expansion is underway, and believe me, it could have some major consequences for the entire region.
Okay, so let's get right into it. In that huge stretch of water, something is happening that really demands our attention. We're talking about a quiet but relentless expansion, happening one massive platform at a time.
To really understand what's going on, the whole tension between Japan and China in this part of the world, it all starts with a single number, 22.
So what's 22? That's the number of structures that the Japanese government has confirmed China has built out here for resource development. And let's be clear, these aren't just little buoys we're talking about. These are massive industrial platforms. And as you can see, they just keep popping up, which really shows you that this is an ongoing thing.
So where exactly is all this construction happening? Because to really get why this is such a big deal, you have to understand the geography. The location is absolutely everything in this dispute.
All right, take a look at this map. All of this is going down in the East China Sea, right between Japan and China. And here's where the problem starts. The sea here, well, it's less than 400 nautical miles wide. That means the economic zones of both countries overlap, big time. So to sort out this overlap, Japan has a pretty simple idea based on international principles. Just draw a line right down the middle. This is what's known as the median line.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. All 22 of those platforms are on the Western or the Chinese side of that line. So problem solved, right? Well, not so fast. The reason Japan calls this unilateral development is because that line, it was never actually agreed to by both sides. It's a proposal, not a treaty.
And that right there brings us to the absolute heart of the matter. A fundamental, deep disagreement about where the line in the sea should be drawn in the first place. So, why can't they just agree? Well, it all boils down to two completely different ways of looking at international maritime law and, the very shape of the ocean floor itself.
Okay, so on one side you've got Japan. They're arguing for the median line, which they say is the fair and modern way to do things under the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. But on the other side, China says its rights go way further. They're using a concept called natural prolongation, arguing that their continental shelf naturally extends all the way east to a deep-sea trench called the Okinawa Trough. And Japan's response to that? They basically say that whole natural prolongation idea is outdated. Their government's position is that under modern sea law, a feature like the Okinawa Trough just doesn't have any legal weight when you're deciding on a boundary this close to another country.
So you've got these structures going up in an area that's clearly disputed. How has Japan officially responded to all this? This isn't some new flashpoint. It's been simmering for over a decade. And what makes it even more frustrating for Japan is that way back in 2008, the two countries actually agreed to cooperate on developing these resources. But that agreement has pretty much been gathering dust ever since.
So Japan has been protesting, repeatedly, through diplomatic channels. The official wording is always very careful but firm, calling the actions extremely regrettable and strongly urging them to stop the work.
Japan's demands are super clear, and they really come down to three things. 1. Stop building stuff immediately. 2. Don't turn on any of the platforms that are already out there. And 3, and this is the big one, let's get back to the negotiating table and finally make that 2008 cooperation agreement a reality.
Okay, so I know this might feel like a distant, complicated issue. A line on a map, some platforms at sea. But why should the rest of us care? What's really at stake here?
This is about way more than just who gets the natural gas. This whole dispute touches on the basic rules that govern our oceans, on stability in a region that's absolutely vital for global trade. And that's why the outcome here is so critical. It could set a huge precedent for how other maritime disputes get handled all over the world.
So yeah, the situation in the East China Sea is complex, it's unresolved, it's a quiet standoff, but it's a standoff with some potentially huge consequences for regional stability and for the future of international law itself.
And that really brings us to the core question here, doesn't it? In a world full of overlapping claims, what does the rule of law truly mean when you're out on the water? There's no easy answer, but finding one is going to shape the future of our oceans. If you found this channel interesting, please subscribe and hit the like button. Thanks for watching.